Ready to go in Foxborough. The Bengals have won 4 of their last 5, and the only Patriot loss at Pittsburgh. And 2 award-winning quarterbacks. 2-time MVP Tom Brady and the Heisman winner 2 years ago, Carson Palmer. Welcome back. No complaints about the December weather, edging toward 40 degrees, and we move down to Armin Katayan.
Thank you, Dick. You know, Bill Belichick's theme to his team this week was not a name but a number, as in 31-0, which was the score at halftime when these two teams played together during the preseason. I said to Bill on Friday, well, it was preseason. He said, hey, listen, we had all our stars on the field. They just absolutely killed us. He's been showing them the lowlights of that game all week long, Dick, and believe me, not surprisingly, he has their attention. Back to you.
All right, Armin. Always looking for an angle, and a lot of coaches disregard the preseason, but he had to go that far back to find motivation.
Well, when a team is playing as well as his ball club is, but yet, I'll say this, Dick, this New England football team, this group of players, they buy into Bill Belichick. Whatever it is he says behind closed doors, this team has become a group of believers and an extension of their head coach.
Super Bowl hero Adam Vinatieri sends a spinner short down to the 10. Cliff Russell of the Bengals. And he's out across the 30 and a good return to the 34-yard line. Carson Palmer and the Bengals take the field, and Palmer had his best game of the year last week. 3 touchdowns and 200 yards in the fourth quarter in the comeback win at Baltimore. 340-pound right tackle Willie Anderson, a Pro Bowler last year. And wide receiver Chad Johnson's 75 catches are just 1 off the NFL lead. Palmer said that Johnson is always open. Double, triple team. And there's a handoff inside to Rudy Johnson. Stacked up. Ty Warren, who has emerged in his second season out of Texas A&M. And for Bill Belichick's ever-evolving defense, it features 2-time Pro Bowler Richard Seymour at defensive end. Linebacker Teddy Bruschi's MO is delivering major defensive plays, and Rodney Harrison's devastating hits are part of his Patriot-leading tackle total. Second down and 8, and Palmer throws for the first time. Downfield, almost intercepted by Randall Gay. He had it. Intended for Chad Johnson.
Well, we've got the rookie from LSU, a free agent, and wow, what an easy interception. Carson Palmer throws this right into the hands of Randall Gay as he breaks in there from the right. Wow, that is a classic case of if he could catch, he would have been a wide receiver. That's how you end up being a defensive back, but seldom will the rookie get a better look at a pass than that.
Gay has played really well. He has 2 interceptions in relief of Tyrone Poole. 3rd and 8. They pick up the blitz. The throw is complete. Underneath it goes to T.J. Houshmandzadeh. Flag down in the backfield, however.
Well, you're glad you got that one out of the way in a hurry.
It's TJ the rest of the way.
We've been practicing all week. Houshmandzadeh.
Everybody is Houshmandzadeh until today.
Jeff Triplett is our referee today.
Holding. Number 80 of the defense. That penalty is declined. First down.
Troy Brown, the wide receiver who has been seeing duty in the defensive backfield, this decimated deep 4 for New England.
Well, there's Troy Brown. He's working on TJ, and you can see he gets, there's the secondary grab with the right arm as he hooks him around the waist. Troy Brown was surprised by Houshmandzadeh's move back to the inside, and clearly hooked him and grabbed him, but he didn't keep him from catching the ball. The penalties decline.
First down out at the 47-yard line, and this New England defense, they are stingy in the opening quarter. Just 6 points allowed to their opponents on the opening drive of the game. Best in the NFL. No touchdowns. Here we are in the 13th game of the year. Palmer used a long count, fires to the sideline. Houshmandzadeh has another catch at the 46-yard line of New England.
Well, we've got some things we'd like you to keep an eye on today, and let's start with this matchup of Corey Dillon as he runs against this very porous Cincinnati defense, gives up 142 yards a game. Chad Johnson, can he get loose for some big plays? We saw the Troy Brown having to play already in the secondary, and the turnover battle. These are two of the NFL's most opportunistic defensive units.
On 2nd and 2, the throw underneath, short pass, but it's enough for a first down again to Houshmandzadeh, who played his college ball at Oregon State. In fact, he and Chad Johnson, the two wideouts, graduated in the same class up in Corvallis, Oregon.
And I think we're seeing early here Cincinnati wanting to put the ball in the air. This run unit of New England's gives up less than 100 yards a game. And even though the Bengals have had success running the football, I think Marvin Lewis knows it's going to be a struggle to get a lot of yards against his Patriots group today.
3 wide receivers, Rudy Johnson, the running back, and the whistle before the snap. Palmer, just 24 years of age.
Timeout. Cincinnati, they're first.
This is his first season taking all the snaps. Did not get under center all of last year. Opening drive of the game for the Bengals, and they've moved to the 41 of New England and a first down. Carson Palmer, he has a connection with New England. Pete Carroll, the former Patriot coach, replaced by Belichick, was his coach, of course, at Southern California. Rudy Johnson off the left side, big hole. Rumbles down to the 25 and to the 23 before they drag him down. Veteran Willie McGinnis with a tackle, another first down, Bengals.
Well, he gets inside Richard Seymour. You're right there on the left of your screen. Watch Seymour fight to the outside right there. And when Seymour goes outside, Rudy Johnson does a very nice cut back into the heart of the New England defense, but there's no backside pursuit. I think Richard Seymour is doing his job, sealing that outside gap, and normally when you turn a guy back to the middle, there's some sort of inside pursuit. Not the case there.
Unfortunately, Rich Braham, the center for Cincinnati, injured on the play. Welcome back. Hand off to Johnson, and he's wrapped up after a couple of yards. Rich Braham, a twisted knee. They say he should come back. Jerry Fontenot replaced him at center. Well, we all know Peyton Manning, 4 touchdown passes away from Dan Marino's record. Let's go to New York for an update.
Dick, the countdown has begun in earnest from 3 yards out. Peyton Manning, the quick one to Marvin Harrison. That's number 45, 3 short of the record, Dick and Dan.
It didn't take long. Thank you, Greg. Palmer on the roll. The throw underneath to Kenny Watson, and Watson, the running back, struggles to the 11. Rodney Harrison makes the tackle.
But the operative phrases there in Indianapolis and Houston, Dick, I think are 45 and 22. 45 touchdown passes and a $22 million signing bonus for Marvin Harrison as he re-ups with a long-term deal with the Colts.
That was eyebrow raising, wasn't it?
Whoa, that's a little nest egg.
First down for the Bengals. A very impressive opening drive. Braham is back in there. And again to Rudy Johnson, and not more than a yard, and it might have been a fumble. The ball is still free, and finally the Patriots say they've got it. No signal yet.
Well, there was no whistle. That's a live football. I didn't see anybody rule that down.
Willie McGinnis said he had it. Seems to be some confusion.
If you're the offensive team, the first thing you look for is an official running up and pointing at the ground, and New England has it.
So Marvin Lewis's team tries to take the ball down the field and score early, and here's the fumble as
that's Ty Warren makes the initial hit, but the ball's still there, and then Rodney Harrison comes up. Now the question is, was Rudy Johnson down before that ball came out? But it was the hit of Rodney Harrison that knocked the football loose.
Marvin Lewis has only challenged 2 calls all year, and he's been right on both. He's got the red hanky out.
He's got to take the chance. Marvin is going to challenge this call. Let's take one more look at it right here from behind. Rudy Johnson's first going to get hit there by Warren. But watch, here comes Rodney Harrison, number 37. Boy, I couldn't tell exactly from that angle.
Cincinnati is challenging a ruling on the field of a fumble.
There is a good chance that Rudy Johnson was down before the ball came out. He wasn't down when he was hit, but it's going to be interesting to determine the exact moment when the ball came loose.
As the review continues, a couple of veterans in on the play again, Dan.
Yes, it is. Again, this is our most definitive look at it here. Take a look at Rudy Johnson. He is right here. Here comes the hit by Rodney Harrison. You can see the ball's loose, but it is very difficult to determine where his knee is. And you have to start with the fact that the ruling on the field here is a fumble. And Jeff Triplett, under the hood, is going to have to see definitive proof that his knee was down before the ball came out. And I spent the last 2 minutes looking at it, and I can't find that definitive proof. We can't find a clear-cut enough look at it to overturn it, in my mind. Now, we'll see what the referee saw.
As Triplett makes his way back toward the playing area.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands.
And isn't that just like the Patriots? That's what they've done all season long.
And I don't see where Jeff Triplett, with the visual evidence that was presented to him, really had any other choice but to rule that.
28th time they took the ball away, and here are the main veteran players. Rodney Harrison again with a big hit. And who recovers it? Willie McGinnis, as they stop the opening drive attempt by the Bengals. And Brady comes out throwing. Hit as he throws. Complete to Deion Branch, and he's out to the 39-yard line and a first down.
Is Tom Brady one tough hombre or what? He just stands in there, big, tall guy, and boy, does he throw this football at the last minute when he really gets thumped. He has no idea. Only the crowd noise tells Tom Brady that this is a completion. He just is buried by Thornton.
Dwayne Clemens got to him first, and it's a first down at the 39. Give it to Corey Dillon, the ex-Bengal, and he rips off a gain of nearly 15 to the Cincinnati 46. Kim Herring, for the injured Rogers Beckett, makes the top.
Well, Corey Dillon gets his first look at his old group of guys, but look at the block by Christian Fourier out front. Gets a nice block from Patrick Pass, his fullback, and that is a huge hole off the left side. Take a look at that. Beautifully done. Beautifully done by Andruzzi, Fourier, and Pass.
Dillon with 75 yards or more in every game, 1,200 plus on the season, fourth best in the league. Off play action, Brady fires and completes to the 30. It's to David Patton. His 35th catch of the year.
Well, how opportunistic is this Patriots team? A minute ago, they were looking at Cincinnati getting on the board first. After a fumble in just a few plays, they're deep in Cincinnati territory. And so many quality receivers. David Patton having to step up today. He'll play a bigger role. David Givens, normally a starter, not playing today. And check that out. Over 100 points scored, taking advantage of turnovers.
Not only stopping the opposition, but then turning it around and scoring. And Dillon this time stacked up by Dwayne Clemens and company. Again, to repeat, it's an NFL record. The Patriots have scored first in 17 consecutive games, and it looked as if Cincinnati was going to end that today, but up comes the turnover.
And it's not over yet, but you've certainly got to like New England's chances the way they have just marched right down the field. Again, this is a Cincinnati defense, very good at creating a lot of turnovers, but because of some bad games early on, has given up a lot of yards.
Fourier shifts to the right side. Brady on 2nd and 10 to the sideline and incomplete. That went in and out of the hands of Deion Branch.
And Keywan Ratcliffe, the corner to that side, he's a rookie, and he times it beautifully. This is the type of a timing play you normally don't see from a rookie corner. Because watch the hit by Ratcliffe as he gets right in there, gets his right hand on the ball, and pulls it away from Branch. That's a That's a nice piece of work by a young man out of Florida.
Second-round pick this year by the Bengals. 3rd and 10, shotgun Brady. Kevin Falk in the backfield. Good pass receiver. Brady throws, complete to Patton. No, it's to Branch again, and Branch has well, it's going to be close. Let's see what they mark it on the 20-yard line. It's going to be a yard shy of a first down. 4th down and 1. Let's see what Belichick does here. Does he go for the 3 or take his shot?
He doesn't like the spot. He thinks forward progress was enough to give his club a first down.
And now it's a half-hearted timeout signal by the referee Triplett.
All right, again, let's try to figure out where did forward progress come. There is the catch. Well, he did not make it to the 19-yard line. He most certainly did not make it to the 19. That looks to be, to me, maybe might have gotten another foot, but not enough to get the first down. All in all, in having to make a spot, I think the officials in the blink of an eyelash spotted that ball fairly accurately.
And from the roar in the background, you know that Belichick's going for it.
Well, here comes big Richard Seymour into the offensive huddle, the defensive tackle who gets to play fullback in this situation. Man, I wish I could have done that.
I know you would have.
I am green with envy.
4th, and you saw about 3/4 of a yard. Seymour is the back, the blocking back. Dillon a tailback, and it's Dillon. He's got the first down behind Seymour.
Subtlety, not a part of that play. Power football. Fourier's the tight end of that side. Richard Seymour's got the kickout block to the outside, and that's why he's playing fullback, folks. He just completely eradicates Brian Simmons, the linebacker, and takes him 3 to 4 yards back off the ball.
3-yard gain, first down to the 17. Patriots, as you saw, productive on that opening drive. Here's Dillon sweeping left. And inside the 15-yard line, Simmons, 7th-year backer out of North Carolina, makes the stop.
Well, winning breeds confidence. And certainly this is a confident football team. This is a team that believes that their coach is smarter than the coach on the other sideline. I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying they believe it. They believe in his game plans. They believe in his work ethic. And he demands things from them, and they have found out that if they meet his demands, they win.
And when in doubt, all he has to do is bring out those 2 trophies they've won the last 3 years. Underneath this time to the tight end, Jed Weaver, only his 3rd catch of the season. Weaver seeing some duty today because Daniel Graham, normally the starting tight end with a rib injury, did not suit up this afternoon. Weaver, one of those tight ends, throughout his career, basically has been that 3rd tight end at Miami for most of his career, Philadelphia, San Francisco, and that's what Belichick has done throughout. He just picks those perfect players for his system that seem to always produce for him.
Well, I think you said it perfectly, Dick, when you said the players that fit his system. Bill Belichick has never tried to pound the square peg into the round hole. He's not going to change his system. He's only going to go out and find people that he knows will fit and that his players will embrace and are smart enough to play in his complicated system on both sides of the ball.
Now 52 years of age, Belichick in his 5th year here in New England, and has built a powerhouse. 26 out of the last 27 games won by New England, and here comes Seymour on 3rd down and a link for a first down.
He's got receivers playing defensive backs, defensive tackles playing fullback.
Linebackers playing safety.
Versatility, pretty much a calling card of this ball club.
So Seymour lines up on the right side this time, and then the sneak by Brady will be plenty as he's down to the 5-yard line. 1st and goal, New England. Justin Kirpakis now is in the ball game. He's a linebacker playing on offense. Charlie Weiss, congratulations to Charlie, a mastermind on the offensive side of the ball, and he's helped New England to those 2 Super Bowls, and the new head coach at the University of Notre Dame.
One of the Fighting Irish is coming home. Charlie, a proud alum, heads to South Bend.
Patriot red, white, and blue here on this Sunday, and a cold front expected in, and we feel a shift in the wind direction from south now to from the north. Temperatures dropping a bit at the 5-yard line. First and goal. This 10-play drive, 79 yards since the fumble recovery, as Bill Belichick's defense forced the fumble, denied the score, and now trying to get on the board first for the 18th consecutive game.
I don't know who's going to score a touchdown, but nobody would enjoy it more than 28.
He fakes to Dillon. Brady then throws to Dillon, incomplete.
Well, they tried. Charlie Weiss called Corey Dillon's number. That was a play designed all the way. If they jumped on the fake, he'd be open on the follow-through.
We saw Torrey James on the coverage, number 20. It was interesting during practice watching them this week, New England. They have such high regard for James and his 7 interceptions and long arms. They had the defensive back pretending to be James carry a couple handball rackets with him so that he would always show that his arms were longer than any other defensive back. What else is Belichick going to think of?
Great visual.
Give to Dillon. It's open outside. He bangs to the goal line, and they're going to mark it just shy of a touchdown. Torrey James denied.
He got the crowd going when he reached across the goal line with the ball, but he sure did look like he was down. That looked like a good spot by the official. But look how Corey Dillon finishes. Watch the hit right there, but look where he finishes. And yet he was down before the ball went across the goal line. But after contact, how about the way Corey Dillon, and that has been the hallmark of his career. He is a powerful man, and when he drives through a tackler, it's normally good for another 2 yards.
Third and goal from the 1. Dillon off guard. Touchdown. The 10th touchdown of the season rushing for Corey Dillon.
And thankfully, after that touchdown, everybody on both sides of the ball kept a cool head. No pushing, no shoving, apparently no hard feelings.
Vinatieri to try the extra point. Team that's won 17 straight at home. A team now that has scored first in 18 straight games. The NFL record extended. 84 yards, 13 plays, 7 points. Welcome back. Corey Dillon matching his career high of 10 touchdowns, shooting for the 8th time that he's rushed for 100 yards in that New England uniform. And so the reversal, the turnover, the long drive, and the Patriots, true to form, have the early lead. Vinatieri kicks it off. Russell and Watson are deep. Watson in the end zone will take the touchback. Let's check on Peyton Manning. Greg?
Hey, Dick, you want to see true to form? How's this? From 12 yards out, Reggie Wayne on the receiving end of number 46 on the year. That's also a new NFL record. 13 straight games with 2 or more touchdown passes, breaking the old mark by John Unitas. 14-0, Colts in the lead.
Tony Dungy must even be wondering, it shouldn't be this easy, should it?
I just want to know who back at the NFL today is in charge of smelling salts.
Rudy Johnson, the running back. His fumble stopped the Bengals drive at the 16 of New England, and Palmer smothered, and then he comes back out of the pile, and the big guy can run. Tiptoes along the sidelines and gets a first down out at the 34-yard line. Vince Wilfork, the rookie from Miami, had him, but Palmer slipped away.
Just so we can give everybody lots to talk about, here's Corey Dillon's touchdown run. I want you to watch his left knee. Right there, he is down, and the ball has not yet broken the plane of the end zone. So that ball probably should have been spotted at about the 6-inch line instead of being a touchdown. But it happened so quickly. Cincinnati didn't have a time to challenge before the extra point. And life goes on.
And a 14-yard run by Palmer. There's the catch by Guzman Zada, and he is out of bounds in New England territory at the 49-yard line, and another Cincinnati first down. They're moving the ball. And look at the difference there, Dan.
Well, and I think that is so much reflective of the experience Carson Palmer has gained playing here in his very first full season. But you can certainly see, look how the point production, a 10-point increase in these last 5 games. And it is, I think, a direct reflection on the maturity and the experience that this young man is experiencing and enjoying in basically his rookie campaign, as he did not get a single snap last year.
Back to Johnson. No, he fakes to Johnson. The long throw downfield is incomplete. Intended for Chad Johnson. And Asante Samuel had the ball land on the top of his helmet as he was racing to stay in step with the receiver Johnson.
Well, Eugene Wilson is back there as well. There's Samuel, number 22. Now, he knows he's got zone coverage. You're not going to ever have single coverage on Chad Johnson. But you can see the Wilson late coming over there, and if it wasn't for the fact that the ball was severely underthrown by Carson Palmer, that would have been an easy Cincinnati touchdown, because there was a period of time there where Chad Johnson was 5 yards behind the Patriots secondary.
And fans in Cincinnati and Bengal fans around the country recognize that's what Chad Johnson has been doing to defenses now for 4 seasons. And there's Rudy Johnson, no relationship, nearly 10 yards as he burrows inside the 40. Mike Vrabel makes the stop.
Well, talking to Carson Palmer, he said, you know, we've seen double teams, we've seen triple teams against Chad Johnson, and yet the guy continually gets open. You know, we've seen him earlier this year against Champ Bailey. He just lit Bailey up. The guy has an instinct for getting open, even when you design coverages to blanket him. He still does it.
3rd and 1. Complete to Jeremy Johnson, but he loses a yard as Teddy Bruschi comes up with another big New England defensive play.
Oh, and listen to the crowd here at the Razor. Teddy Bruschi gets his own cheer now as he gets the brew. What a nose for the football. What a player Ted Bruschi has become in his 9th year. He is just big play. Might as well be his middle name.
Kyle Larson to punt it. Kevin Falk inside the 10 for New England. And the rookie from Nebraska sends a high kick. Fair catch. Falk inside the 5-yard line. He knew that the Bengals had a couple of guys around the ball, one behind him, so he didn't let it go toward the end zone. Reggie Miles was there to cover. America's most watched network. From the 4-yard line, Brady hands off inside to Dillon, who picks up a couple. Corey Dillon played his college ball at Washington, the all-time rushing numbers with Cincinnati, and look what he's done with New England. He's upped all of those averages, rushes per game, rushing yards per game, yards rushing averages the same, and now touchdowns the same. Those are taking his very best on the left year or statistic in a year at Cincinnati. See your stat tags keeping you in touch with the current statistics in this game. Game tracks and the scores down on the bottom of your screen as Dillon is run out of bounds by Brian Simmons.
Well, Corey Dillon was so vocal in wanting to leave Cincinnati. This was about an hour before the game. A lot of his old teammates seeing him for the first time. And there's Marvin Lewis. And Marvin Lewis, very vocal in talking about one of his major regrets is that he could never get Corey Dillon to buy into his program. He thinks he's a good guy and a wonderful worker and everything else. He said, I'm disappointed I wasn't able to convince him that we were going to win here and that he should be a part of it.
3rd and 7 for Brady in the shotgun. Bengals showing blitz. And finally Brady has to call a timeout. Tis the season, and one of those gentlemen secretly has our producer Mark Wolf's Christmas bonus. We'll try to reveal that before the end of our telecast today. Ho,
It's the one sitting down.
3rd down and 7. Falk in. That's Troy Brown in motion. Looking for Brown. He eludes. Almost sacked. And then the pass thrown incomplete for Brown. Boy, Brady did some nifty footwork to avoid getting hit in the end zone for a safety.
Tom Brady, if he learned one thing from Drew Bledsoe, he's not afraid to stand there and hold the ball, but he knows Cincinnati's a team that tries to strip the ball, and standing there in the end zone with that ball away from your body, that's an invitation to have somebody come and knock it loose. Not a good place to lose the ball, your own end zone.
Josh Miller kicked at Arizona, the left footer, and Kewan Ratliff for Cincinnati, backpedaling, a flag down. Ratliff at the 40. And Ratliff into New England territory at the 45, and we'll check the penalty. The flag thrown by the field
there comes
judge along about the time the ball was kicked, and now a second flag comes in late, and there did appear to be a block in the back. We see one official has holding.
Holding or illegal use of hands.
Offsetting fouls or not, Mr. Triplett? Looks like one of those beer commercials.
Well, I think Jeff Triplett's talking to Marvin Lewis. He felt he deserved an explanation first.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Eligible receiver going out of bounds voluntarily on the kicking team. Number 42. During the return, illegal contact. 55 on the receiving team. Those penalties are all set. Replay, 4th down.
All right, they'll kick it again, and we remind you to get complete recaps from all of today's NFL games, including insight from CBS Sportsline's NFL experts, only at CBSSportsline.com.
Well, you heard one of the calls was against Cincinnati player Anthony Mitchell. You're not allowed to go out of bounds and on your own. You can be run out, you can be forced out, but you're not allowed to just head out of bounds to avoid being blocked.
So they do it again, and here's the boot. With the win, it carries inside the 45. Ratliff looking for a block. And finally brought down at the 44 by Teddy Bruschi on the special teams. 51 on the punt, 12 on the return, and the Bengals are back in Patriot territory, trailing 7-0 with just 49 seconds left in this opening quarter. Yardage about even, but Palmer's drive on the opening kickoff ended inside the 15 on the fumble that was eventually recovered by New England at the 16, and then they drove it downfield, the 84 yards, and the score by Dillon. Well, Palmer happy last night as he heard that a former teammate at Leinart of Southern California, they were teammates for 2 years with the Trojans at Southern California, had repeated his high honor, the Heisman Award. That's Kelly Washington in motion. Rudy Johnson has 5 and has 9. Bruschi, another tackle for New England.
Well, I think New England was very well aware that this Cincinnati, you go back and you talk about the fact Cincinnati beat them so badly during the preseason. Players have very short memories when it comes to the preseason. But I think Bill Belichick, in showing them the tape of what happened in the preseason, coupled with how well they have played the last 3 or 4 weeks, the Patriots believe they could be beaten here today by the Bengals. They have that much respect for them.
Cincinnati started slowly 2-5, but now won 4 of 5, and that's Johnson again slamming inside the 35 and a first down at the 33-yard line, and that will be the end of the opening quarter here in Foxborough. 7-0 New England will return to Gillette Stadium after these messages. So the Patriots have the early lead 7-0 as we move to the second quarter. Dick Enberg, Dan Deerdorf, Armin Katayan, Mark Wolf, and Steve Milton with us in the director's chair today. Johnson & Johnson behind Carson Palmer. Jeremy 31 the blocker. And on first down, the pump fake. And then Palmer to the sidelines. And the quick toss is to Reggie Kelly, the tight end. And a gain of about 5. Let's go to Armin.
You know, Dan, a few moments ago you mentioned how Carson Palmer did not take a single snap last year, and this is essentially really his rookie season. So many young quarterbacks about this time of year can point to a game or a play or a moment when the light goes on and the game really slows down. Carson told us it's really been a process for him, quarter by quarter, week by week. He's getting more comfortable, and Belichick said this guy's got it all as far as a quarterback is concerned. High praise, Dick.
Yes, Armin, and he's a lot bigger man than we thought when we met him in person for the first time. Johnson trying to find room, and he ad-libs his way inside the 25 and close to a first down. It'll be 3rd and 1 when we come back, but first, let's go to New York.
All right, Dick, and we'll go to Buffalo, where from 3 yards out, Luke McCown will find Dennis Northcutt, and Northcutt finds the end zone with the extra point. The Browns have taken a 7-3 lead on Buffalo, and they're about to start the second quarter. Dick and Dan?
All right, Greg, and of course, Buffalo with that slow start, but with their schedule, fans up Western New York feel they got a shot at the playoffs as do the Cincinnati Bengals. On 3rd and 1. They send Rudy Johnson up the middle, and he has the first down at the 21-yard line. We mentioned Steve Milton is our director, and for all of us at CBS Sports, we send our heartfelt sympathies to our director, Bob Fishman, on the loss of his father, Elliot, this past week. We know the depth of feeling. You know, it's tough to lose our dads. On first down. Out of the backfield, and that's to Kelly Washington, his first catch, and he's been productive this year, this second-year receiver out of Tennessee. That's his 24th grab.
Well, Carson Palmer, imagine how difficult it had to be last year not getting a single snap. But take a look at the way he has grown, the way he has matured, the way he has improved. His first 7 games on the left to the right. Every category, look how he has improved. Completely flipped his touchdown to interception differential. Quality stuff.
Give inside, and Rodney Harrison was right there to smother Rudy Johnson. And this is part of the success of this New England Patriot team, Dan. They're so intelligent, these veteran players, always in the right spot, it would seem.
Take a look at it. Look how well he times it coming off the corner. And, you know, keep in mind, he's blitzing from the offensive right side and makes the tackle on a back who's running to the left side of center. Now, that takes a burst by a safety to cover that much ground.
Yeah, building on their #1 ranking in the red zone. It's 3rd down and long. Make it 3rd and 3 as Palmer swings it complete to Kenny Watson, and Watson has the first down inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal.
And Kenny Watson makes something out of nothing because Carson Palmer took way too much off that football. That is an easy pass to drop, especially for a guy who wants to get his head turned upfield. He wants to pick up a first down. Look how he has to slow down, catches the back third of that football, and then heads upfield. Wonderful patience and great focus by Kenny Watson.
Yeah, he was a wide receiver at Penn State, and he showed you the good hands there. 1st and goal. Rudy Johnson, 5-yard line, and down to the 3 before Harrison can bring him down. And Harrison, another tackle. He leads New England on the season with 110. He has a couple of interceptions, 3 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, counting the one today. What a player he has been in his 11 seasons in the league.
And yet Cincinnati is showing confidence in their running game, Dick. Again, the 6th-ranked run defense in the NFL, giving up only 99 yards a game, but yet this isn't a shy Cincinnati offense.
2nd and goal. Johnson again up the middle, dives, but stacked. May have gotten a yard at best. And that's dangerous against this Patriot team. How many times have we seen somebody leap in the air, and while you're up there being supported, all those arms reaching in, tentacles trying to rip it away?
That's Romeo Crennel, the defensive coordinator of this Patriots unit. Of course, he and Bill Belichick, along with Charlie Weiss, have been a trio. All of them worked under Bill Parcells at various places. This group knows each other well, and they're, of course, losing Charlie.
Kenny Watson in, 3rd and goal. Ball at the 2. That's Chad Johnson in motion. No play. Time called.
Timeout. New England, their 2nd.
So the Patriots use their 2nd timeout. Both teams with 1 left. 10 minutes left in the first half. The Bengals are 2.5 yards away from tying it up. 3rd and goal. Palmer throws underneath for the touchdown. It goes to the tight end, Matt Schobel. Schobel, his 3rd score of the year. And the #1 team in the league in the red zone has given up a rare score.
Well, Matt Schobel, he's lined up at the tight end position. They got a tight end and then a wing, and somehow he gets lost. You see Matt Schobel there, 89. You can see right there Rodney Harrison pointing to him to the inside. Harrison let him go, thinking someone else on the Patriots defense is going to pick him up to the inside. A rare mistake by New England defensively when it comes to assignments.
Shane Graham adds the extra point, and with 10:03 left in the 2nd quarter, the Bengals have tied the Patriots. So the short field pays off for Carson Palmer in Cincinnati. 45 yards in 11 plays, and on 3rd and goal, he hits his tight end Matt Schobel for the score. 17th touchdown to match 17 interceptions for Palmer, who is in this game. Palmer's 10 for 12, 70 yards and a score. So Graham to kick it off. Bethel Johnson returned at 93 yards for the opening kickoff touchdown against Cleveland a week ago. His 2nd in 2 years. Line drive comes down to Johnson. 20. Hesitates for his blockers and finally wrapped up at the 30-yard line. Reggie Miles and Madio Williams with a stop. Well, let's check on other action in the NFL. Back to Greg in New York.
All right, Dick. In Houston, the Texans aren't about to throw their arms up and surrender to Peyton Manning. This is David Carr. 3-yard bullets. Jonathan Wells cuts the Colts lead in half. 14-7, 7.5 to play in the first half. Dick and Dan.
All right, Greg, and for those of you just joining us, Peyton Manning already with 2 touchdown throws in that game to pull within 2 of Dan Marino's record of 48 touchdown passes in a season. Here at 7-7. Empty backfield, Brady. Over the middle, complete. Goes to his tight end Weaver. His 2nd catch. Out to the 37-yard line. Landon Johnson, the tackler.
Dick, let's revisit the touchdown catch by Matt Schobel, who's lined up right here. He's going to take an inside release. Watch Rodney Harrison right here. It's clear that Rodney Harrison has Schobel if he goes to the outside, but if he goes to the inside, he turns him over to Eugene Wilson, and you can see right there Wilson realizes he was late to react and get there. Rodney Harrison is running the show in the New England secondary.
All right, 2nd and 1, and Brady fake screen left, screen right to Kevin Falk. He's at the 45, the 50, and into Cincinnati territory. Lots going on today. Right back to New York and Greg Gumbel.
All right, Dick, this time to Atlanta, where Allen Rossum's 50-yard punt return set this play up. 2 plays later, T.J. Duckett, 28 quick yards to the end zone, and Atlanta has grabbed the lead on the Oakland Raiders, 7-3, 8:43 to play in the first half, guys.
All right, and Atlanta with a win today, beating Oakland would clinch their division. Of course, New England the same here. Should the Jets lose and New England win, they clinch the AFC East. First down, Brady. Lanson throws deep down the middle. He's got his man. Patton, touchdown.
Tom Brady must have looked up and realized there was no safety in the middle of the field for the Bengals and said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Torrey James, single coverage on a post pattern down the middle of the field, the toughest coverage in the world for a cornerback with no safety help.
And Patton, who leads the Patriots in touchdown receptions, now has 7 for the season. Free agent out of Western Carolina.
Wow, both Cincinnati safeties jump on short routes, Dick. That is asking a lot of a cornerback.
Vinatieri tacks on the extra point, and New England takes the lead 14-7. 14-7 as Patton, who has been the long ball performer for the Patriots, gets the 48-yard touchdown, and here comes Cliff Russell for Cincinnati. Breaks one tackle and staggers across the 30 to the 33-yard line. How did Patton get so open, Dan?
Well, Dick, let's look at it from up above, and we're going to see something right here. Look at Torrey James here, and look how he's conceding the inside. But you see this safety right here? He's going to jump a pattern by the tight end, and that is going to leave the middle of the field wide open. Torrey James is clearly expecting safety help to the inside. You can see him whip around and look. See, look, he's inviting Patton to take an inside release. He's giving him to the safety. Unfortunately, the safety is 20 yards upfield, playing a short route by the tight end.
First down for Carson Palmer and the Bengals as they trail now 14-7. The throw over, intercepted. It's Asante Samuel. Touchdown.
There's a flag. There's something back here at the 8-yard line.
34-yard interception return for a touchdown.
What is that, piece of trash or what is that?
I don't think it's, you're right. I think it's just some refuse on the field.
Boy, from up here in the booth, it looks like a flag. Wow, what a throw by Carson Palmer.
Asante Samuel, who picked one off for its touchdown against the Jets last year in his rookie season.
Yeah, sorry, folks. From up here, that looks like a flag. You see the yellow on the side of it.
That's the cheese in the burger.
Yeah, get that thing off the field.
Vinatieri, and it. Oh, you get that? Just did. Slip through that left upright, but Asante Samuel has given the Pats a 2-touchdown lead. That's the 4th defensive return of a touchdown this year. 3 fumble returns and the first interception to go for a score. Asante Samuel with the honors and a 21-7 lead, and New England scores have come off turnovers.
Seems just a few seconds ago that we were excited for Cincinnati that they tied this game up.
And in 12 seconds, 14 New England points. Here comes Cliff Russell. Full head of steam, and he dives out across the 30-yard line. Dexter Reed with the tackle. Well, week 4 in Buffalo, Patriots defensive end Richard Seymour took a 68-yard fumble for a touchdown, sealing a 31-7 victory. In week 12 against Baltimore, defensive end Jarvis Green scooped up a fumble. Teddy Bruschi had caused and took it to the end zone. Then last week at Cleveland, rookie corner Randall Gay returned a fumble, 41 yards for a touchdown in a 42-15 victory. And then today, Asante Samuel, 34 yards. He gambled on the pick, and it was there for an easy score. 116 points on the season for New England on turnovers. Grabbed in the backfield. Keith Traylor gets his 340 pounds on Rudy Johnson. On their home turf, they are tough.
Well, and I think the key is right here. November and December. Bill Belichick formulates, puts together a football team to play their best football late in the season. It's the most important time of the season. His players believe it, and they produce. I'm telling you what, how opportunistic is this football team?
2nd and 12. Double reverse, and Palmer out there to block. And this is Chad Johnson vaulting out to the 39. And Palmer threw a solid block out in front of his wide receiver.
Well, when you do a double reverse, the guy's got to cover a lot of miles. Chad Johnson tries to sell the run. You can see that it's man coverage right there. Randall Gay trying to stay with him. Palmer out front trying to make a little something happen. But again, the Patriots did not lose contain. They stayed with it pretty well.
3rd down and 2. Watson in the backfield. Chad Johnson is to the right. You can see him, the orange shoes. Underneath, complete to Johnson. 50, 45, flag is down, however, back where Palmer threw the ball. And they're going to bring it back.
Holding, number 71 in the offense.
Willie.
Repeat 3rd down.
Willie Anderson. Looks like they were putting the squeeze in on one of those interior linemen.
Well, Willie Anderson is their best offensive lineman. He's been holding down that right tackle position for the last 9 years. There's Willie, number 71. Oh, and he really does. He really puts the hook. He's got Richard Seymour grabbed right around the waist, and, of course, that is right in front of Jeff Triplett. No getting away with that.
That denies a sizable gain. First penalty of the game. 3rd and 12. Palmer better hurry. He just does get the snap.
Here comes the blitz.
Down the middle, wide open. It's Houshmandzadeh, and he has a big gainer to the 38 of New England before Randall Gay can make the stop.
Well, you can see that the Patriots start with a 4-man line, and then they bring 2 additional blitzers. Rodney Harrison coming there, Bruschi coming up at the top, and a sensational job of picking it up by the Bengals up front. And that allows Carson Palmer to step into it, of course, with the double blitz, the middle of the field wide open. Houshmandzadeh there to take advantage of it.
As you see up on Stat Tracks, 5 catches now, 73 yards for Houshmandzadeh. And now it's Kenny Watson. Make it Rudy Johnson. Johnson back in, and he has a good gain on 1st down.
Dick, this is something I really like in a young team that's learning how to win. This was a situation where a 3-and-out series offensively would have been catastrophic. And yet we'll see whether it results in any points. But Marvin Lewis's team right now, offensively, they are fighting their way back. That's a nice sign.
2nd and 4, back to Rudy Johnson. Runs over his own blocker and able to get those shoulders down low and close to a 1st down. Rodney Harrison, the tackler. Flag is down.
Well, that's a situation where Rudy Johnson got up and immediately was appealing to the official to that side. I don't know if he's looking for a face mask. Well, thank you, Rudy.
He's got a little radio in that helmet.
It's a way to help out. Of course, they're going to have some sort of a discussion as to whether it's a 5-yard face mask or the personal foul variety. There's Rodney Harrison with the right arm. I'm not sure. Whoa, there at the end, maybe. There at the end, it looked like. Initially, it looked like it was just the right arm of Harrison, and he didn't have the face mask.
There is no foul for the grab of the face mask. He was just on the face mask, did not grab it.
I think that's a very good call.
Result of the play stands, 1st and 10.
I think that's a very good job of the officiating crew. The one guy threw the flag, and another couple officials come in the conference and say, hey, that was his arm. See, right there, you can see his hand is even away from his helmet, and he actually has his fist closed up. His fingers aren't even extended. Rodney Harrison's hand never even extended his fingers. That was a good piece of officiating, picking up that flag.
And a good piece of television coverage right on it.
Great work, everybody.
So the 1st down is picked up by the Bengals. And now a timeout, 4:50 left in this opening half.
Willie Anderson there, number 71, a veteran in this huddle. They're trying hard to be organized. They're going to what's going on in that huddle. Bobby Williams being demonstrative.
Yes, and they had to spend their final timeout. That's why they were upset.
Well, that shows some competitive spirit. That's, again, this is a team that has been down for a long time. Keep in mind, this is a team that has had 3 seasons since keep in mind, 1990 was their last winning season.
Last time in the playoffs.
They were 8-8 96, 8-8 last year, and now they're 500 this year. This is a team starving for success.
First down, Palmer to throw. Scrambles up the middle and slides at about the 23. It's where the ball is, not where his feet are, and that's where the market. Traylor and Bruschi trailing the play. Working our way down into the final minutes of this opening half. 21-7 the deficit, staring at Marvin Lewis's Bengals. Lewis was really brought organization and order and discipline to this team, and his players love him. You can tell that by their performance on the field and how they talk about him off the field. Rudy Johnson plowing to the 20. That'll be a couple of yards shy of a first down. Another big third down facing Palmer and the Bengals. He's 5 for 6 on third downs today. Scrambles, looks, throws, has an open man on the sidelines. Kevin Walter, and the second-year receiver from Eastern Michigan, has his first catch today. 7 on the season. Troy Brown, the wide receiver veteran who has volunteered for duty as a defensive back.
But this is a case where Carson Palmer buys himself a lot more time by moving around. He did not start off thinking that Walter was going to be his receiver. He starts off working the right side of the field, then buys himself time. All of a sudden, he discovers on the left side of the field, there's Kevin Walter standing over there all by himself.
Rudy Johnson on first and goal from the 9, able to pick up 4 yards down to the 5-yard line.
But that awareness by Carson Palmer, again, Dick, we're just watching this kid grow up.
Looks as though if he's got enough legs to get himself outside and earn himself a little extra time to find an open orange and black uniform.
And I'll be the first to tell you that coming out of Southern Cal, I didn't see him play that much in college. I'm one of the guys that's really surprised to hear other people talk about the quality of his movement, of his legs.
Second and goal. He's looking for Johnson. Johnson in the end zone. Touchdown. Chad Johnson has his 7th of the season. Oh, what a move he put on to break open against Randall Gay.
Yeah, the rookie this time found out something about Chad Johnson and why he's one of the most feared receivers in the league. Johnson really sells that outside move. Then back to the inside, he sells the post. And then when he turns back to the corner, Randall Gay thought about trying to tackle him, and then I think decided he wasn't even close enough to him to hold him.
69 yards in 10 plays as Palmer and the Bengals answer after the Samuel interception touchdown.
Major kudos to the Cincinnati Bengals for fighting their way back into this thing.
And Shane Graham with the extra point, and it's back to 21-14.
2 touchdowns in 12 seconds can break a team's back. But Cincinnati, this was a nice, beautiful drive they put together. Great protection. Look at all the time Carson Palmer has. And then it just couldn't have been thrown any better.
Orange shoe dance in the corner, and 7 more points for the Bengals. Chad Johnson, who played his high school ball in Miami Beach, went across country to Oregon State. He and Bushmanzada, they're used to that orange and black. That's Oregon State's colors. Not many players go their college and pro career as they have, wearing the orange and the black.
No, it's not often you'll see in this situation a team's 2 starting wide receivers are the exact class from the same school. 2nd-round draft choice for Johnson, a 7th round for Bushmanzada. I can't recall the last time I ever saw that in the NFL.
And the starter, Bushmanzada, because of the injury to Peter Warwick, leg injury that put him on IR earlier this year. But he's answered the call, hasn't he? He's over 50 catches on the season, Bushmanzada.
Big, physical, strong receiver.
Bethel Johnson back. And at the 9. Speedster from Texas A&M. He's by the kicker and finally run out of bounds across the 45 at the 47. Kim Herring may have saved the touchdown. Well, Tuesday on The Amazing Race, teams trek from Africa to the Berlin Wall. Wow, this is a great show. And then they're in a soapbox derby that's an amazing race of its own. Tempers flare. One team reaches the breaking point. Don't miss the new Amazing Race Tuesday, 9/8 Central on CBS, America's most watched network.
Thought I was back in Akron, Ohio there for a while watching a soapbox derby.
I'd like to see you in a soapbox derby.
Had to have bigger tires than those things.
First down draw play. And it's Dillon running through tacklers to the 44. And a gain of about 8 yards. Torrey James had to come over from the corner to help out Justin Smith.
Well, Dillon's a little banged up. He bruised his thigh in their game last week and was on the injury report this week. But I suspect that something would have had to have been drastically wrong with Corey Dillon not to get this start.
There's the 2-minute timeout here at Foxborough, where the Patriots lead the Bengals by a touchdown. 2 minutes to go in the half. Ball at the 44 of the Bengals. 2nd and 1. And this has been a troubling time of a game for Marvin Lewis's team. They've been much too generous in the final couple of minutes of the first half. On 2nd and short, Dillon goes outside and has the first down easily, and then stops the clock as he goes out of bounds at the 36. 4 times, Dan, this year, opponents have scored points in the final 20 seconds of the first half. Those are tough to digest for coaches.
They're not exactly momentum builders on your way into halftime, are they? How about that stiff arm by Dillon on Case Vaharn right there? He has got one of the game's premier stiff arms.
The Rock. And that straight arm is part of the whole package. To the sidelines, a juggling catch. It's called a catch to David Patton. Patton with a 48-yard reception for a score earlier in this quarter.
Well, luckily, Patton first attempted to catch that ball about 4 yards from the sidelines because it took him 3 yards to get possession of the football. If that would have been right at the sidelines, he wouldn't have had possession when he stepped out of bounds. He juggled it for about 2 steps.
Time called by the referee.
Reviewing the previous play.
Yeah, the official upstairs, the replay official, we're inside 2 minutes of the first half. He's going to take a look at this to make sure that he did indeed have possession and wasn't juggling it on his way out of bounds.
Got a moment. I just wanted to underline something about Tom Brady. And, you think of this guy, 199th player pick back in 2000, the 6th round choice, and becoming a true star in this league. And you can use a lot of statistics as we look at the play again.
The key here is, does he get possession completely put away with both feet in bounds? Yes, it did look like, because he drags his left foot. When the ball comes to a complete rest and he finally has gained position, he then still has to get both feet down. And I think it's that drag right there that's going to give David Patton the catch.
After reviewing the play, the receiver did juggle the ball, but he got possession, got both feet down, and drug the other foot. Therefore, it is a catch. Play stance that's called on the field. First down.
A reminder coming up, the next till halftime report. Greg Dan Shannon, Boomer. Latest scores and highlights. Update on Peyton Manning and his quest for the Dan Marino title of most touchdowns in a season. All coming up on the next till halftime report. As they break huddle, Brady, the point I wanted to make about him, this is his 59th consecutive start. He's lost 13 games as a starter. Fires to the sideline, wide open. Inside the 5 is David Patton again. Boy, they're just unable to stop Patton in this half.
Somebody from Cincinnati thought they were playing touch football. They went by Brady and just tapped him on the shoulder. The good blocking there. I think Matt Light, the left tackle, just took his guy right on by and tapped Brady on the shoulder, and then Tom Brady throws a real bullet downfield. Man, and again, Dick, this is a point you made before about Cincinnati allowing points late in the half.
Now 1st and goal with 1 minute 10 seconds left in the half, and Brady may want to even use some time here. Seymour and Drabel. Two defensive players are in there. There's Dillon wrapped up. Maybe lost a yard back at the 4-yard line as veteran John Thornton crashed through. One timeout left for Bill Belichick's Patriots. Cincinnati's used their complement and massive substitutions off the bench for both teams. 5 new players come in for Cincinnati, 3 for New England.
Yeah, New England's going to spread the ball. They took their jumbo package out. They're going to throw the ball or at least act like they're going to do something from a passing formation.
Kevin Falk, the running back. And they give it to Falk, so they look past
Yep, they bring in the passing package, and then on the delay to Kevin Falk, and Cincinnati caught completely off guard.
Falk scoring his second rushing touchdown of the season. Who would have thought we would have seen 42 points in this first half?
A little bit of a ruse there by Charlie Weiss, the offensive coordinator. Makes a show of running off all the big people, brings out all the receivers, spreads them out, and runs it anyway.
So Kevin Falk with a touchdown, and here's Vinatieri's point after try. 28-14, a very efficient drive. 2:09 it took Brady to go 53 yards in 6 plays.
Now, for all you fans sitting at home, when you look at how pretty this play is out of this passing formation with the underneath handoff to Kevin Falk and the good block out front by Stephen Neal, just keep in mind how many times you've sat there and go, if this play gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage, what are they doing running the ball in a passing formation like that? Why would they do something like that? Well, this is why they would do it, because sometimes you catch the defense completely unaware, and that's what the Patriots did right there. Nice block out front by Stephen Neal. Good work.
And he's a good story, isn't he, Dan? Neal, number 61, is from Cal State Bakersfield, and if you love the sport of wrestling, you'd know about him. He was the best in the country, won 88 in a row. Twice he was the NCAA champion, but didn't play any football, so he's been a project coming into the NFL. And remember, Bill Belichick said early in the season you weren't quite sure if you knew where to line up.
No.
But he's become a top-notch blocker.
He certainly has, and of course what Bill saw was the wonderful athleticism. But coming from a sport where all you do is use your hands in wrestling, there are a lot of offensive linemen aren't supposed to do that.
That's why they thought of him as a defensive lineman originally. There's the high kickoff, comes down short. Kenny Watson. And he's toppled at the 31-yard line. We have 18 seconds left in this first half. Larry Izzo, who else? Again leading his team in special team tackles as he has the last 5 years. Well, does Marvin Lewis roll the dice a little bit here and try a couple of long passes or not?
Well, if you're going to try something, it's got to be something safe. The reality is Cincinnati, with only 18 seconds and no timeouts, to move into field goal position would require some kind of a miracle. A young quarterback, I'd be a little cautious.
The home run threat, Chad Johnson, is to the right. And they give it off to Kenny Watson, and Watson to the 40-yard line, and that'll probably do it for the half as Richard Seymour, Pro Bowler the last 2 years, makes the stop. Well, at 6'5", they able to down the ball, and we'll get one final play.
See, now you can go ahead and throw it downfield and hope that maybe you get a defensive penalty. And even though time would have expired on a defensive penalty, you could run out your field goal team and try a field goal. Now, that's what I would do. The only risk is that they won't run the ball all the way back if by chance it was intercepted, and normally doesn't happen on some sort of a Hail Mary.
Look at this alignment. 3 Patriots on the line of scrimmage, and 8 men are down inside the 25.
I think that is a great visual. Look at that. That looks like pregame warm-ups.
Timeout is called. Referee Triplett's microphone not working.
Well, it can only be called by New England. They're the only team that has one left.
And that one's gone, so both sides have used all 3. Well, again, New England with a win today and a loss by the Jets wins the AFC East, but they don't necessarily want the Jets to lose, do they?
No. They would like they'd like the Jets to win today. I know that they're in the same division and all that, but they need somebody to pin a loss on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers and the Patriots are tied at 11-1, but keep in mind, Pittsburgh owns the tiebreaker because of that win over the Patriots at Heinz Field. So the Patriots, the only way they can get home field advantage, they got to finish a game ahead of the Steelers.
Actually, a one-man rush. Now here he comes on a delay. And then Palmer throws out in the middle to Chad Johnson. And then Johnson looking for blocks on the sideline. Pretty interesting play. Doesn't go all the way.
I don't see where that made any... Where did that make any sense?
Well, they had a wall build up over there. Three blockers.
But he walked out of bounds.
And Rodney Harrison and the Patriots upset about something that happened at the end of that play. But that is the end of the half, and the New England Patriots started with a turnover early and a touchdown. They got an interception for a touchdown. And despite the fact that Cincinnati has moved the ball effectively against the defending Super Bowl champs, the Bengals go to the locker room down by a couple of scores. Let's go down to Armin.
Bill, some big plays for you on both sides of the ball, but obviously focusing on how to slow down that Cincinnati offense.
Yeah, well, it's been an offensive game. Both teams have been up and down the field other than the interception return. So, they're tough to stop. We got to do a better job of it.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Okay.
You see that 30 consecutive games when leading at halftime. That ties the Broncos for the all-time NFL mark. It's 28-14 at the intermission. We'll be back with the Nextel halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. And we're back in Foxborough, ready for the second half with the Patriots leading 28-14 as they go for their 18th consecutive win. Offense typically good enough for New England, and they mirror what we've seen the last couple of years. Defense gets you another score, and it actually sets up another one.
And so opportunistic, and it is just the way the Patriots have always played. And if you're the Cincinnati Bengals looking at a 2-touchdown deficit at halftime, you have to realize that we have to play a perfect 30 minutes of football. They can't afford another turnover. Any more mistakes, and Cincinnati is facing an uphill climb. I don't think they'll be able to negotiate. Let's go ahead and check our fantasy notebook for those of you at home keeping track of your favorite guys and what they're doing here. You can see Carson Palmer. He's got the 2 TDs, but the 1 interception, certainly a negative there as it was returned for a touchdown. Rudy Johnson's leading the rushing battle, but he's carried it 17 times. And who would have thought the leading receiver for Cincinnati would be TJ Houshmandzadeh? He's got 5 receptions here in the first half.
Ready to go now as Graham has it teed up, and Bethel Johnson ever dangerous to return it for New England. He has 4.2 speed. This one spins inside the 5. The ex-Texas A&M Aggie picks his way out to the 25-yard line, and that's where Tom Brady and the Patriots will start the third quarter. Well, it was Rudy Johnson's fumble that stopped the opening drive as the Bengals looked as if they were going to get the lead in the first quarter. And then Asante Samuel, the cornerback, picks off a pass by Palmer and takes it untouched 34 yards for a quick score. And Patriots scored 3 out of the 4 times they had the ball. So the Bengals defense truly unable to stop Brady and this two-pronged attack, the running of Dillon, the passing of Brady. And here is Dillon. Hesitates, and everyone relaxes, and then he slams forward for 4 yards. Williams and James the tackle. What do you have for us, Armin?
Well, in talking to Marvin Lewis last night, he had told us one of the things he had tried to teach this team was how to finish plays. Well, he just gave them the same message in the locker room at halftime. He said, we're being way too tentative. We're getting in position to make plays, but we're just not finishing them, which is part and parcel, he said, of being a young team. Dick?
It is a young team, and thank you, Armin. And Marvin Lewis, though, feels really confident about how these young kids are going to contribute down the line. They've matured, getting their lessons on the field. There's the throw downfield, incomplete, intended for Deion Branch, and Kim Herring timing his hit to dislodge the ball.
Well, we talked about what a daunting task is facing the Cincinnati Bengals here in the second half. We'll try this on for size. Look at that middle one there. 30 consecutive wins when they have been leading at halftime. Wow. I'm sure Marvin didn't tell his team that at halftime. You saw that they've already, including today, scored in the first, the first to score 18 consecutive times. 37 went after 3. It's mind-boggling. That is such domination.
It's historic stuff.
Yes, it is.
Brady on third down and short throws the quick out, and that'll be good enough for the first down. Let's see, it's Troy Brown who comes up with the ball. The dean of the Patriots in his 12th season out of Marshall, his first catch today.
Well, Mediu Williams, he's going to come on the blitz. See him, number 40, coming right in there between left guard and left tackle. But Tom Brady realizes the blitz and goes to the side of the blitz. You'll see a quarterback do that when he's comfortable in his offensive system. He reads the blitzer, realizes there's going to be a void on that side of the field. Brady exploits it.
First man ever before his 27th birthday at quarterback to win 2 Super Bowl titles. Tosses it to Dillon, and Dwayne Clemens there with a good solid tackle.
Only 27 years old, Tom Brady, and I remember sitting at the Rose Bowl when Michigan was playing Washington State it was New Year's Day 1998. I was at that game, and of course Tom Brady, he sat and watched the game just as much as I did, as he was watching Brian Griese quarterback against Ryan Leaf. And the 2-time Super Bowl MVP was a spectator that day. He went on to start both his junior and senior year at the U of M.
Well, Brady falls down and still throws it complete to Patrick Pass. Oh, my!
No!
You're not that good.
You gotta be kidding. I can't believe it. He learned this at Michigan. This is at Michigan. That's unfortunately in college the play would have been over. Tom realizes he's playing in the NFL. I'm sorry. The Cincinnati defense, if that doesn't demoralize you a little bit, I don't know what will when a quarterback completes a pass from the seat of his pants.
And now Brady sneaks it on 3rd and 1 for the first down out to about the 47-yard line.
Any chance of that being on some highlight shows tonight?
You got to go to a lot of games to see a pass from the seat of your pants. He threw it about 15, 20 yards in the air.
He just stumbles and falls. Did he get hit?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, Corey Dillon was kind of moving past him there. Tom Brady, that'll go down as maybe his most unusual completion ever.
That goes back to his baseball catching days in high school, scrambling after a ball. Now the toss back and then the throw in the flat, complete to Christian Fourier, and the tight end is close to another first down into Cincinnati territory at the 43. Carl Powell, defensive end, chased him down.
Well, and right now is a situation where Charlie Weiss right there, he's feeling it, his team's feeling it, and somehow Marvin Lewis has got to hope that his defensive team right here can make a stand. Because this is where the game can get completely out of control and get away from you where you have no chance of getting it back.
And the Patriots are so outstanding in so many categories, and here's another one. Starting the second half, they come out and they move the ball and get points. Didn't need much, Dillon, and he got enough for a first down. New England has scored 44 points on its first possession of the second half this season. That's the most in the NFL. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you can come out at the break and immediately get something on the board, it's such a boost for you and such a demoralizing fact for the opposition.
I think every 2 minutes, whether we need to or not, we just show Tom Brady throwing the ball from the seat of his pants.
There you go. Now, next time I want to see him throw it while he's face down. Face down next time. Quick toss is out in the flat to David Patman. Look at the speed. He finally has stepped out of bounds back out at the 32-yard line, but that'll be another New England first down.
And right now the Cincinnati defense is a half a step late to everything. They're a half a step late to coverage. They're half a step late here in trying to make a tackle, as you can see. that it's not even a contest. Torrey James doesn't hardly get anything but a hand or two on David Patton.
Patton now with his 5th catch, and he's over 100 yards on the day.
Charlie's over there going, boy, I hope we move it like this next year against USC.
That's right. Save some of those. Wide open his pass. Patrick Pass catches the pass, has a first down as he goes through the pass to the 17-yard line. Brian Simmons and Torrey James with a tackle. Listen to this pass.
Well, yeah, Tom Brady, does he have a strong arm? That's got some smoke on it. That's got some smoke on it. You know, Tom's not one of the guys that, you know, you hear coaches talk about that he's just got that unusual gun. But what a command of this offense that he has. He and Charlie Weiss, simpatico.
It borders on Manning-esque. The way he reads defenses and runs the plays, looks to the end zone, throws, touchdown, Fourier. The veteran tight end from Colorado with his 2nd touchdown of the season.
And that was a completely methodical, merciless drive by the world champions. That was a humbling experience for the Cincinnati defense. That was a trip to the woodshed.
Brady with his 2nd touchdown of the game and 21st of the season. 75 yards, 11 plays. Vinatieri, who almost missed to the left on his last extra point, skids one through on the right.
What a catch by Christian Fourier. High and outside, but he goes up and gets it.
.35-14, the opening drive of the half, and Tom Brady completing them from his gluteus maximus and from his tarsals on that drive. So methodical. That was a great call, Dan. Boy, that was beautifully executed as Cliff Russell takes the kickoff. Bengals have their first possession, and a good return by Russell. He's out across the 40 before he is dumped hard by guess who? Yeah. Rodney Harrison. Here's a veteran on the special teams. Russell, who played his college ball at Utah, and the flag is down. And
I saw a preliminary holding sign being flashed.
Holding number 33 of the return team. That's a 10-yard penalty. It's first down. Timeout.
And that's a very legal hit by Rodney Harrison. He was still in bounds. But again, a Cincinnati mistake backs him up.
So the Bengals, after the penalty on the kick return, start at the 23-yard line. Carson Palmer and his team down 3 touchdowns. Gets it to Chad Johnson at the 40, and he's out to the 41-yard line. Go back to the touchdown. Help us out, Dan.
Why don't we, Dick? Here's Christian Fourier right here, and he's going to run just a little seam pattern right down the middle, but you're going to take a look at the fact that he is totally ignored after the 10-yard line by the Cincinnati defense. An interesting thing is Christian Fourier and Tom Brady, after practice on Friday, stayed out about 20 minutes after practice working on that exact same pattern. Talk about getting a payoff.
With Daniel Graham not being able to play, they wanted to make sure they had it exact. Kenny Watson, and Watson a couple of yards out to the 43-yard line before Bruschi belts him down.
You know, Fourier at 33 years old and a 10-year player in this league shows he's still got some ups.
You bet. That was a very agile catch. Back to Brady. You can't help but ignore just the brilliance of their statistical year. Brady in the red zone this year, 15 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He is efficient.
I'd say that's pretty good.
Keep his job.
At least until next week.
Rudy Johnson plows to the 48, and Watson stays in. 3rd down and 3. Palmer 7 for 8 on 3rd down. That sparkles. Throws complete, and it's T.J. Bushmanzada.
I am so impressed with Carson Palmer and his ability to move and throw the football on the move. He is, part of it here is he's looking. He doesn't have anything. He's flushed, but look how under control he is. And then he just feathers that ball to Houshmandzadeh, and that is so hard to do. Look how perfectly he laid it on his hands.
And for Houshmandzadeh, 6 catches, 81 yards.
There's a lot to like about Carson Palmer.
It's Rudy Johnson now, and he's inside the 40 of the Patriots. When he walked into the room yesterday, we had never met Carson Palmer in person, and my first impression was, I looked down at his stats, 6'5", 230. I said, you got to be bigger than that, and he is. Gained another 15 pounds. He said he just figured, knowing the beating you take as a starting quarterback, be better to carry that extra bulk.
Well, Dick, you and I have been doing National Football League games for a long time, and I went back into the archive. I hadn't done a Cincinnati game since 1992. That's a long time.
Yeah, they're coming around, and Marvin Lewis, I have a sense we're going to be doing a lot of them in the future. There's Chad Johnson, and he's bumped out of bounds by Randall Gay, but another first down at the 32-yard line.
And take a look at what Marvin has accomplished in these last 2 years, the last season and 3 quarters since he's been a coach. Look at that stretch. Only 6+ win, only 4 of them since 1991 before Marvin Lewis got there. Cincinnati has to be in love with Marvin Lewis and the way he's in the process of turning this franchise around.
Rudy Johnson on first down is inside the 30, a gain of about 3. Meanwhile, Palmer racking up some very impressive passing totals, 17 for 21, a couple of touchdowns, but a costly interception that went for a score the other way by Asante Samuel.
And I know this offense only has 14 points on the board, but I do like the way in situations like this they keep flying back down the field. They don't appear to have any quit in them. They're still playing, and they're still playing aggressively.
Yeah, they showed that last week at Baltimore, didn't they? Winning 27-26 with a great fourth quarter rally. Flag down. This one won't count.
Richard Seymour got tackled.
Nice catch by Kelly Washington inside the 15, but it's going to come back.
See, this is a situation where you think to yourself,
holding number 65 in the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty. It's still second down.
Yeah, that's Eric Steinbach, the left guard. But you see, this is a case where good football players force the other team to make mistakes. Richard Seymour forces this hold because he's one of the premier defensive linemen in the game of football. And sometimes you'll see a penalty and you go, well, why do we make penalties? Well, you make penalties sometimes because you're forced into making penalties because the guy across from you is better than the guy that's trying to block.
Back in that 2001 draft, Dan, there was Gerard Warren and Richard Seymour right there, and Cleveland picked Warren with a 3rd selection. That left New England to get Seymour with a 6th pick, and Seymour has been nothing but Pro Bowl talent, and his ability to raise this defense higher has been quite remarkable. Timeout, 35-14, the Super Champs lead. Welcome back. While the Eagles have gone 11-1, there are those teams at 5-7. Maybe one of them will make it to the playoffs. What do you think? Cast your vote at NFL.com. Carolina is the NFC version of the Buffalo Bills in the AFC. Really putting on a nice little move here late in the year. Kenny Watson in the backfield, 2nd and 17 for Palmer. Hit as he throws, and Chad Johnson with a catch in stride and steps out of bounds at the 16-yard line. First down.
Again, as nice a catch as that was by Chad Johnson, what a throw by Carson Palmer. Mike Vrabel is going to come in. He beats the guy on the left, coming in from the right-hand side. Carson Palmer just gets rid of the ball. But look at it. It is absolutely perfect. And Chad Johnson was awfully close to being out of bounds. Let's take a look at this right foot. No, he was in.
Got those orange shoes to help us out. Rudy Johnson back in at tailback. And he's inside the 15 and gets some extra yardage after contact to the 11. Back to Chad Johnson. He started today just one catch behind Derek Mason of Tennessee and Joe Horn of New Orleans for the NFL lead. They have 76. Johnson was 75, and he's picked up 5 more today, so he's up to 80 on the season, and he has 80 yards today and a touchdown.
And sometime before I die, maybe those uniforms will grow on me.
Looks like a Rhine fire sale. The throw into the end zone. Incomplete at the last moment. Broken up by Asante Samuel as tight end Tony Stewart went deep. Samuel with the touchdown on the interception in the second quarter. Well, I can't feel too badly about it. Those were my high school colors. We were the Tigers. We kind of liked that orange and black up there and feared Armada, Michigan.
I grew up in Canton, Ohio. Next door was the Massillon Tigers, one of the most storied high school high school programs in the country.
On third down, the crowd rises, and Palmer throws in the end zone incomplete. He got down, and he really got nailed by...
Well, Richard Seymour, I think, hit him low, but that's because Richard Seymour got tackled. And Richard Seymour again was in there. He gets through the Cincinnati offensive line so quickly. What a jump he gets off the ball.
This will be declined, I would think, by New England.
Holding number 74 of the offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Rich Braham, the center, and they're all taking their shots at trying to stop Seymour. No one can unless they hold.
Well, you know, a defensive lineman not supposed to hit a quarterback low. Nobody's supposed to hit a quarterback low. But that's Richard Seymour just doing his job. He got held, and that's the reason he ends up hitting Carson Palmer low.
Shane Graham on for the field goal. He's only missed 3 times all year, 24 for 27. And this one, as you can see, 29-yard attempt. And the run of the punter runs it into the end zone. Kyle Larson of Nebraska. So the fake field goal down by 3 touchdowns. And going forward is Marvin Lewis. And Larson, the rookie, has an NFL run for score.
Oh, and Bill Belichick is so upset. The Patriots overloaded one side to rush. And they overloaded the right side. And here we're going to get a run going to the left.
Matching the number on his uniform, a 19-yard touchdown run.
Larson realizes the overload is to his offensive right, realizes there's only 2 Patriots to his offensive left, and that was a well-designed and executed sneak.
Extra point by Graham, so instead of 3, the Bengals get 7 to the dismay of Bill Belichick. And with 3:10 left in the third, Marvin Lewis's Bengals have scratched back to 14. That's Carson Palmer going to the locker room. He was hit low by Seymour when Seymour was being held, and Palmer limping. Undoubtedly will get some x-rays and check on that leg that took the punishment.
A quarterback is so vulnerable standing there straight-legged in the pocket.
Graham kicks it off, and Bethel Johnson at the 5. And crosses the 25, flag down. And apparently that one will come back.
And Bethel Johnson is hurt.
Holding number 51 of the return team.
Don Davis.
That's a 10-yard penalty. It's still 1st down.
So a break here at 3:04 in the third with the Patriots up by 14. That's John Kitna. Talk about frantic to static.
Well, you can tell the guy who hasn't played yet this year, he doesn't have air in those cells inside his helmet. He's got to get him pumped up. John Kitna hasn't taken a snap yet this year.
It used to bother me when I played. They put it in the air before the helmet was on my head. That always...
Again, let's go back and take a look where Palmer gets there. Here's Richard Seymour right there. Watch that great acceleration off the line. He gets held, and he falls in and lands on the left leg of Carson Palmer, and we'll get a report. Armin, what do you got?
Well, Dan, speaking of the left leg, the Bengals told me it's a left knee sprain. Carson is in getting some treatment and observation, but he is said to return to this game. He will return. Back to you.
All right, let's hope that's the case. Good news. 2nd and 8 for Brady. Guns it to the sideline, incomplete for Deion Branch. Back to Kitna when we said from frantic to static, because last year he was the only quarterback in the NFL to take every snap. And this year he has taken no snaps.
Well, Dick, last year he completed 62% of his passes, 26 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 87.4. Not many guys have ever had a season like that, and their reward was to go take the bench.
Kevin Falk in the backfield, Branch in motion on 3rd down. Brady rolling. Then throws back incomplete. Oh, good thing that was low. That was Keywan Ratliff, number 25, diving for a possible interception. So one of the few times today, in fact, the first time today, 3 and out for the Patriots.
And again, this is a Cincinnati team that last week was down at one time 21-3 to the Baltimore Ravens and scored 24 points in the 4th quarter. So I'm sure that's not lost on anyone in the New England organization.
Josh Miller's punt to Ratliff at the 41. And out of bounds at the 46-yard line. So Kitna, as Don gave you the numbers from a year ago, his career season, 8th-year veteran from Central Washington, takes over for Palmer, and this is his first snap of the year. And he throws incomplete. Hit the back of Teddy Bruschi or Ted Johnson. They were both running in tandem, and the flag down.
Ineligible downfield. Number 63 of the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Don't see that very often on the pass downfield. Bobby Williams, the guard,
Correction
somehow.
on the previous announcement. New England has chosen to decline that penalty. It'll be 2nd down.
So 2nd and 10 then for Kitna at the 46. 2:05 left in the 3rd quarter, and should the Bengals engineer a scoring drive here, they could make that final period very interesting here at Gillette Stadium. Offside Seymour. The throw goes through complete to Houshmandzadeh, and he'll take it downfield for a first down and the 35-yard line. He's racking up some big numbers today. TJ Houshmandzadeh. Played at Oregon State from the hot desert country of
defense, number 93. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
Barstow, California, and you know that he played in some hot games, not just hot for competition, in the September games out there in Death Valley.
Do you feel an uneasiness in this crowd here at the Razor?
Yes, I do. Rudy Johnson behind Kitna. Johnson breaks through tackles, flag down, and Johnson would have a first down to the 24, but a late flag by the umpire usually spells doom to a play.
Holding, number 74 of the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Well, that's the ticket. Now we go to New York.
All right, Dick, in Houston, those Texans don't quit. Dominic Davis from 15 yards out finds the end zone with the extra point. The Texans have cut Indy's lead to 3, 17-14, just about 12 and a half to play in the 4th. Dick and Dan, back to you.
Now, Dom Capers' team, tough at home. We saw them last week. They had the Jets down 7-6 at the half. And Dominic Davis has got a jet on that second move. Now the holding penalty by Braham, the center, denies another good downfield play. Hitting on the screen to Rudy Johnson. Lots of room in front. 30, 20. What a good call against that defense, and the first down at the 17 before Randall Gay can bump him out of bounds.
Well, first of all, it catches the coverage to that side of the New England defense in man coverage, which means the corner's running off with the receiver, has no idea this screen is happening underneath. And again, a complete hollow spot to that side. Good block out front by Steinbach and Braham. And this is why this crowd here is a little nervous. 3 out of the last 5 possessions, Cincinnati touchdowns.
And they're down to the 17. 16-yard line as Kittner to the sidelines. Complete to Chad Johnson. Out of bounds around the 10. Let's see where they mark it, right on the 10. Another flag.
Again, Troy Brown, the receiver / defensive back, working that side of the field, and they're, I think, very much intentionally going after Troy Brown.
Pass interference, offense, number 85. That's a 10-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Well, Chad Johnson, the player flagged for the hold, is working against Troy Brown. Now you see Brown in there. You see that push off by Chad Johnson, even though that looks like it almost was inside that 5-yard area where there's contact allowed by both guys. But that time, the defensive backs will tell you that's not called nearly enough.
Best red zone defense in the NFL, and Cincinnati has 3 touchdowns today, but they're being hurt by the penalties as Houshmandzadeh gets only short yardage on this catch and pushed out of bounds.
Well, Cincinnati on this drive is making it really hard on themselves with the penalties. They had the hold that negated a first down, but luckily they came back, ran the screen, and got it back. Now another offensive penalty, this time the offensive interference on Chad Johnson, makes it difficult.
And that takes us to the end of the third quarter here at Gillette Stadium, where the Patriots lead 35-21. You're watching the NFL on CBS. That winning record, it is a New England empire. 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, looking for a third. Here on second down and long, John Kittner for the injured Carson Palmer, and it's underneath the TJ again, and he's at the 16-yard line, and that'll bring up third down and 9. 26 wins in 27 games for New England, 17 in a row at home. They broke the NFL mark of consecutive wins, 18 in the regular season, 21 overall counting the playoffs. 30, there you go, 37 consecutive games leading after third quarters. That's a record. Third and 10, Kenny Watson in the backfield. Kittner pumping, throws underneath, complete, and it's to Houshmandzadeh again, and he's at the 5-yard line and a first down. And what a game he's having. 10 catches last week, and he's approaching, and he's got 10 today, 120 yards.
Yeah, Houshmandzadeh along with Chad Johnson both had 10 catches last week. Houshmandzadeh right there at the bottom of your screen. He's the inside receiver in the short slot. Just a very little simple pattern. But John Kittner, hey, talk about a guy coming off the bench, the comeback player of the year in the NFL last year, trying to engineer a Cincinnati comeback now.
And there goes another flag and a false start.
Snap, false start. Number 76 of the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Well, this offensive line of Cincinnati is really doing good work sometimes, but sometimes they are killing them, their offensive momentum, with various penalties. At times Levi Jones is the culprit, but some holding penalties, some whiffs on some blocks. By and large they played pretty well, but silly mistakes keep killing their momentum.
Chad Johnson, top of your screen. Rudy Johnson with the ball and no gain. bounced around and then slammed down by Ty Warren, and Richard Seymour in on the action as well.
Well, guess what? We're doing a Patriots game, and Richard Seymour is playing a heck of a game. Who would imagine that? Here he comes in to clean up. Number 93 doesn't even leave his feet. Richard Seymour has forced 2 or 3 holding penalties. He has really been a disruptive force there on the Patriots defensive line.
Rudy Johnson, a tailback with 83 yards rushing, the man who replaced Corey Dillon when Dillon was traded here to New England. The throw is incomplete to Chad Johnson, too tall. Randall Gay covering, and let's go down to Armand.
We'll take a quick update on Carson Palmer. The word from the Bengals is now, after observation, he will not return to this game. So it's John Kitna to win or lose. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Armand. So Kitna, the veteran, showing his mettle to come off and be as sharp as he's shown in trying to lead the Bengals downfield for a touchdown that would pull them within 7.
Check it out. Look at that, 9 out of 11.
Against a very tough team on 3rd down. Kitna to the end zone, intercepted. Troy Brown, and Brown has his 3rd of the year. My, oh my.
Well, he should have just, great work, Troy, but he should have just sat down in the end zone. Running it out to the 3, you put your team in some awkward field position, but I don't think Bill Belichick will get too mad at you. He loves turnovers. New England still with their 2-touchdown lead. Watch John Kitna fake to the right. You see that pump right there, and then he throws a timing pattern towards Chad Johnson. It almost looked like he was expecting Chad Johnson to run underneath Troy Brown, but that was an easy pick for Brown. Just stood there and caught it.
Brady from his own end zone throws complete. Christian Fourier out to the 10-yard line, and here's Troy Brown. All the DB injuries for the Patriots. Brown lined up at cornerback this year against Buffalo. Picked off former teammate Drew Bledsoe. And then last week, his 2nd interception of the year off Kelly Holcomb in a 42-15 Patriots victory. And now this one in the end zone against John Kitna. 3 interceptions. Troy Brown, the wide receiver, is tied for the New England lead in interceptions with Eugene Wilson. 3. Brady pump fake, hit, and down he goes. First time sack today, and it's Dwayne Clemens who got him. Well, the last man in the NFL that played wide receiver to get 3 interceptions, Roy Green, your teammate, Dan, with the Cardinals. Of course, he originally was a wide receiver. He picked off 3 as a defensive back in 1981.
Yeah, Roy came to the Cardinals as a safety from Arkansas State, wore Jim Bocken's number 25, and then when he made the move to wide receiver, he took Jackie Smith's number 81, and of course went on to a tremendous career both in St. Louis and Arizona.
3rd and 6 for Brady. Throws underneath, and it is complete. How did Deion Branch get? Nope.
They're going to say it hit the ground.
It looked like that was going to be another sensational play.
Well, from our vantage point, it looked like he had corralled the ball, but the official on the far side who had a vantage point thought the ball hit the ground.
And so the punting team comes on, and another 3 and out for the Patriots. Kewan Ratliff drifts to the other end as Josh Miller ready to punt it. Has the wind at his back as it has shifted since the game start. Coming from the north. A wobbler that Ratliff lets bounce. 42-yard line. In trouble. Now comes back the other way and is surrounded and down at the 46. 51-yard punt. 11 minutes left. 14-point Patriot advantage. And on the punt, a penalty. And they're going to take this back.
Number 50. That's a half the distance to the goal penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
Well, Mike Vrabel did something. We didn't get all of the message, but they're going to penalize the Patriots back to the 4-yard line, which pinches the room for the punter, Josh Miller, as he'll have those heels right on the edge of that back line of the end zone.
And that 3 and out by the Patriots keeps this very much a real football game with just a 2-touchdown lead by New England. But Cincinnati has shown the ability to strike with big plays. Do not go home yet. Do not switch stations. Don't go to the bathroom. This game is far from over.
Sell it, Dan.
Well, it's the truth. Don't you feel it? I mean, look, they're when you're punting from your own end zone, bad things can happen.
Ratliff, the rookie from Florida, back at the 50-yard line. Beautiful kick by Miller. Rips it. He rips it to the 28-yard line. Now some blocks for Ratliff to the 45, and there's another yellow flag. Ratliff finally tackled at the 49 of the Patriots by Gerard Cherry. Flag is down at the 45 on the Cincinnati half of the field. 69-yard punt by Josh Miller, his longest by 8 yards this year.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 84, the return team. That's a 10-yard penalty. It'll be first down. Timeout.
Hushmanzada on the special teams with the penalty on the block. That's that section, 4 seats for fans right on the field and having a great time in those comfortable chairs and enjoying the Patriots lead, although Cincinnati racking up the yards, over 400 yards. The 3 turnovers so costly. The last one, the interception by Troy Brown in the end zone. Handoff inside to Rudy Ali Johnson. His mother, a big fan of Muhammad Ali, giving the champ's last name as the middle to her son. Johnson, 220-pounder who grew up as a Cowboys fan in Virginia and idolized Emmitt Smith. Done a solid job filling in with Corey Dillon moving here to New England.
Well, he's on pace coming into this game to break Dillon's single-season record. So the Bengals in their rushing attack haven't missed a beat.
2nd and 9. Right back to Johnson. To the 41, where it'll be 3rd and 4. Bruschi and Johnson, the veteran backers, collaborate on the stop. Did not fumble all last year, Rudy Johnson, and fumbled on the opening drive today, and that cost the Bengals a chance. They were down inside the 15 in New England. Kenny Watson now the running back. Kelly Washington in motion. The throw is to Washington, incomplete. Off his fingertips, and Earthwind Moreland on the coverage.
You could see Washington, his head snap upfield. Classic case of not looking the ball into your hands. He just made the mistake that receivers start making the first time they ever try to catch a pass, looking upfield before they look it into their hands.
Kevin Fall drifts back as Kyle Larson, who ran it in for a touchdown off a fake field goal, now to punt it.
That's a great look right there at the bridge here at Gillette Stadium.
And, of course, just to the left of that is a symbolic lighthouse. You just see the spire there. And
False start. Number 83, the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's still fourth down.
Kevin Walter guilty of the 5-yard penalty. It was Bob Kraft, the owner of the Patriots' idea, since this is the New England NFL franchise, to try to bring the bridge and the lighthouse part of the flavor of this wonderful part of the world.
There's Bob right there in the middle. His son Jonathan next door, and of course a lifelong New Englander, and so proud to own this franchise.
Oh, how was that not blocked? I think they did get a piece of it, and it's going to bounce dead down about the 38-yard line. Keith Traylor had penetrated, and it looked as if he was going to smother that one back to the goal line. 2-touchdown difference, Dan, and the big difference in the game are those 3 turnovers to none to New England's favor.
No, you're exactly right. It's what losing teams, they make those mistakes in their quest to try to get better, and it's what winning teams do to stay winners. I'm sure, though, the message to the Patriots right here was simple. Hey, guys, how about a couple first downs? Last 2 possessions, 3 and outs.
And on first down, it is Corey Dillon for 2 or 3 off the left side. And the other big story here, along with the score and the fact that the Patriots trying to go for 18 straight home wins at Gillette Stadium, is the condition of quarterback Carson Palmer, who has not returned to the field and will not play anymore today.
Well, he strained his left knee. I'm sure there'll be a test conducted back in Cincinnati, but that's a problem for Cincinnati in the sense that the kid has shown so much promise.
2nd and 6. It's Dillon again. Powerful he is as he belts his way out to the 50 and a first down.
Well, I'm sorry, Dick, there's a first down for New England, and while that doesn't sound like much with their last 2 drives of just being 3 and out, their defense, I'm sure, appreciates this little bit of help from their offense.
We saw on StatTrack, Dillon now up to 70 yards and counting. Tackled after a 3-yard gain. Well, Tom Brady and the Patriots are off to their best start ever, 11-1. But there are 2 other teams in the league with the same sparkling record. In the AFC, the Steelers, led by that big rookie Ben Roethlisberger, on fire. And in the NFC, Donovan McNabb's high-flying Eagles, also 11-1, hoping to reach the NFC Championship game for a 4th straight year. 11-1.
And a monster game coming up in about 15 minutes. The Patriots and the Steelers and the Jets, rather.
That one was awkward off the start, wasn't it? Didn't seem like the lines charged in sync, and Corey Dillon just slams his way to the 39 and close to another first down. Dillon acquired by Bill Belichick from Cincinnati, and Bill diligent about his research. You know, Dillon had a reputation of, while he was a great talent, that sometimes might not have been the best of team players, and it just boiled down to he hated the losing year after year after year. Patrick pass, and that's not a penalty. Kevin Hardy can run with him, and even face guarding is okay. Incomplete on 2nd down, 3rd down.
That's a risky throw by Tom Brady. He's got to run the risk of Kevin Hardy turning around and realizing that ball's in the air, because if Kevin Hardy, if he would have happened to whip his head back around his shoulder, all he's got to do is pivot and catch this thing.
4th and 1, and Brady is nailed. He tries to fight for it. No, it is not Brady. It is Larry Izzo slips up under center, and Izzo in the fake kick situation tries to sneak it in on 4th and inches, and let's see, maybe on that last twist. No, he did not. They take over on downs to the Bengals. That was a good surge by that defensive line of Cincinnati. So the Bengals have it back with 6:37 to go. So 6:37 to go here in New England. Patriots up by 14. Bengals with the ball. 6:37 left as they try to fake on 4th and a yard, and linebacker Larry Izzo, the blocking back in punt formation, was stuffed. So Kitna goes to work. Rudy Johnson, and that's the hit from Rodney Harrison. Oh, no one hits quite like Rodney.
And how about Rudy Johnson holding on to the ball? Not many guys take a shot like that and still retain possession, but listen to this. Oh, never even left his feet. That's all timing. Of course, a little bit of physical toughness involved too, but Rodney Harrison has it down.
Well, that's a 4-yard gain with punishment. Kitna down the middle. Vicious hit, and Hushmanzada hangs on as Eugene Wilson applies the lumber.
Oh, I can't believe this. Back-to-back hits and guys holding on to the ball.
Boy, Wilson with a flying hit. Hushmanzada, 11 catches, 138 yards, and a touchdown. What a day for him. And it's a first down inside the New England 40 with plenty of time and the flag. Cincinnati has used
false start. Number 76 of the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Well, here's how Cincinnati got the ball to begin with. Here's Izzo back here, but watch this guy right here, Dwayne Clemens, who's going to slide inside, and he's going to make the hit on Izzo. Izzo's now going to walk up under center, and when they snap it, nobody hits Clemens. And look at him come in, and he's the guy that stands up Izzo and forces them to fail to get it.
Meanwhile, Cincinnati,
8 penalties this half.
that's Houshmandzadeh again. A dozen catches for him. 22 receptions in 2 games for this fourth-year receiver out of Oregon State, as he has developed into a real threat. Of course, so much attention being paid Chad Johnson. Usually it'll be Houshmandzadeh that gets the single coverage.
Well, Houshmandzadeh had hamstring problems last year, Dick. He didn't have a single catch all season. You can see that Cincinnati has been inside New England's red zone quite often.
2nd and 8. Watson in the backfield. Kitna being chased from behind and dives forward at the 27-yard line is Willie McGinnis. Just that close from reaching. He was going for the strip.
He wanted it. I think Kitna had it in his other arm, and that's the reason why Willie couldn't get to it. Watch it when John Kitna is going to take off here to his left. Willie McGinnis, as he sees, switched the ball to his left arm, and Willie McGinnis was zeroing in on his right arm.
Scramble good for a first down. Now Kitna throwing downfield. Touchdown to Kelly Washington. Washington out leaping Eugene Wilson in the end zone for a 27-yard touchdown catch. Or no, it's Earthwind Moreland on the coverage.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about Washington. He made some atonement. Remember, on the last possession, Cincinnati was trying to convert a first down. On 3rd down, he had a ball hit him right in the hands while he was looking upfield. Well, he looked this one in, and what a job by John Kitna delivering this. It's a jump ball from that point, and Kelly Washington is the guy who's got the focus on the ball. Of course, it helps that he's 6'3".
The tallest of the Bengal receivers. Here's Graham's try for point. And the Bengals, yeah, you're right, Dan. There's no quit in this young team.
No, there's not.
35-28 the score, and time remaining just under 4 minutes.
And you know everybody in a Cincinnati uniform right now is going, we did it last week. We did it on the road last week. We did it against one of the NFL's best defenses last week in the Ravens. You know they're confident.
Well, his first touchdown of this season and his first playing action, subbing for the injured Carson Palmer. It was a 27-yard pass to Washington. It was 61 yards in 5 plays for the Bengals and the score. Well, now, for the first time in a long time, Tom Brady has some pressure on his shoulders. He's got to get some first downs.
Well, it was a juggernaut for the Patriots in the first half offensively, and they have hit the skids here in the second half as the Cincinnati defense has really stiffened and played a whole lot better. How about the Cincinnati guys, Rudy Johnson and then Houshmandzadeh holding on to the football in that last Cincinnati drive after 2 colossal hits.
Now, those are plays that you show the whole team next week, and with admiration. Down to Bethel Johnson. And good coverage by the Bengals. Stopped shy of the 25 by Madio Williams.
Well, we talked about the Bengals and the confidence they have coming from behind, and that's for good reason, because of the last couple weeks they came from behind against the Browns. Of course, all the points they scored, and then against the Ravens. And I'm telling you, now that's something, when you do it against Ed Reed and Ray Lewis and company, you know you come out of it, especially when you did it at Baltimore, one of the toughest parks in the NFL in which to win. So Marvin's got his team thinking they can do it, but they need a defensive stand right here.
It's Dillon. And he gets a first down, 11 yards, run out to the 36-yard line. And We welcome those of you who have been watching NFL football on CBS elsewhere. Dick Enberg, Dan Dierdorf, Harmon Catan here at Foxborough's Gillette Stadium. And look at the Cincinnati Bengals. They were down by 3 touchdowns. They pull within 7, 35-28 with 3:13 left. Most points allowed by New England to opponent other than Pittsburgh. The Steelers handing New England its only loss of the season. Corey Dillon, the ex-Bengal, and he's stuffed for a loss of a couple by Langston Moore and Dwayne Clemens. John Kitna is the quarterback for the Bengals here in the second half. Starting quarterback Carson Palmer was injured when struck down around the legs as he was delivering this pass.
It occurred in the third quarter, and Richard Seymour, after being held, for those of you that thought that should have been a penalty, he only hit him low because Seymour was tackled by one of the Bengals offensive linemen, and it's a strained left knee for Carson Palmer. He will not be back in this game, but John Kitna, more than an able backup after the year he had for Cincinnati last year, has made this a ball game.
Second timeout spent by Cincinnati with 2:56 showing, so they got another left plus the 2-minute warning. And look at the Bengals offense against this outstanding New England defense. They're approaching 500 yards today.
But there it is right there, the 3 turnovers for Cincinnati, the difference in this game.
And one of those was for a touchdown, Asante Samuel interception in the second quarter that went for a score. Brady to the sidelines, complete. It's to Deion Branch.
Let's see the spot here.
That was Kewan Ratliff with a tackle. Fans wanted a roughing penalty.
Oh, this is going to be, let's see the spot of this ball.
It's enough for a first down, apparently. It is. And that's big to the 46-yard line.
Well, you're going to see the catch, and hopefully you're going to see the first down marker in the frame as well, because you talk about a pinpoint pattern. Tom Brady had good protection, able to step into it. And when Branch ran his pattern, he was right at the sticks. He might have been 1 foot beyond the sticks for that first down.
That's Dillon, the ex-Bengal. He's to the 46th, the line of scrimmage, and Langston Moore wraps him up. For New England, winning 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls, they have the longest active winning streak at home in the NFL, going for 18 in a row, Bill Belichick's team. And they have just been absolutely remarkable when they've had the lead at the half. They've won 30 in a row. When they've had the lead, as they have today, after 3 quarters, they've won 37 in a row. That's a record. So pretty tough to come from behind here at Gillette. Charlie Weiss there talking with Tom Brady on his way to Notre Dame.
Well, here's what's happened in the second half. Tom Brady to Christian Fourier on a beautiful post pattern. Cincinnati came back with a fake field goal that caught New England totally by surprise. It resulted in a touchdown. And then Troy Brown with a monster interception in his own end zone. And then Kelly Washington, he comes in with a touchdown reception. We have seen frantic scoring, a little bit of everything. Special teams, touchdowns, interceptions, run back for touchdowns. This has been a wide open game.
It's now critical for the Bengals to come up with a stop. They've used their last time out. 2:04 left in this fourth quarter. And Brady throws over the middle, complete. Into the 34-yard line to Troy Brown. Brown catching on offense and catching on defense. The veteran inspiration of this New England club. The mastermind of this New England franchise, Bill Belichick, who has led his team to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years, and with a win today, they clinch a playoff spot. And should the Jets be beaten by Pittsburgh, they'll have the AFC Eastern title. You'll get all the scores and a look at the playoff picture on the Subway postgame show with Greg, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer. They'll have all the latest NFL news and play highlights coming up on the Subway postgame show.
Dick, I come out of this game with respect for this New England Patriots franchise, that in the face of the A game that they get thrown at them every week from their opponents, that they still persevere and win. But I also come out of here really with a lot of great feelings about the Cincinnati Bengals.
I do too.
Talk about a team on the upward curve. Marvin Lewis has this team going. Come in here, score 28 on the Patriots. They can look back at a half a dozen mistakes they made today
Penalties.
and say we would have won this game if we could just keep from self-destructing.
3 turnovers to none. Steelers the only team to beat this New England club in the last 28 games.
And look how New England gets to close with games against Miami and San Francisco, the 2 worst teams in the league.
And the Jets have a lot at stake waiting for them down in New York, while Pittsburgh, a much tougher schedule. Baltimore at Buffalo at the end of the year.
Yes.
Buffalo won again today, so that's no easy one. No timeouts left for Cincinnati, so the third kneel down by Tom Brady, and that'll secure the win.
Did it again.
18 in a row at home. 27 out of 28. As this franchise finds a way. And it was typical of the Patriots. The first drive of the game, and Charlie Weiss, you saw a shot of him. He's the offensive coordinator for Bill Belichick, who apparently will be only the formality now of signing the contract. The coach at Notre Dame, that announcement to be made official in the next 24 hours. And for Cincinnati, I have the strong feeling we're going to see these Bengals a lot in the next few years. They're building towards something special. So there's the final for you. The New England Patriots 35, the Cincinnati Bengals 28. Join Greg, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer with a Subway postgame show. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.